For years, my life was picture perfect. Jessica, my wife of 7 years, was everything I could have ever hoped for: beautiful, intelligent, ambitious. We had built a life together, a home, a shared future that seemed unbreakable. I trusted her, loved her, and believed in everything we were building. She was a driven, successful professional, a marketing director at a fast-growing tech company. Her career was flourishing, and I was proud of her. Too proud, perhaps. At first, I thought nothing of the late nights and frequent travel for work. She had a high-pressure job. After all, I had always trusted her to be faithful, and the thought that she might betray me never even crossed my mind. But that began to change as the distance between us grew. I had no clear evidence, no blatant signs, just an unsettling feeling deep in my gut. Small things at first. She would come home late, her phone always face down, and more often than not, her responses to my questions seemed vague, evasive. I couldn't ignore it anymore. The real shift came the night I came home early from work. I walked into the living room expecting a quiet evening with Jessica, but instead, I found her on the phone with someone. Her voice was soft and intimate, too personal. She was laughing, and I could hear a man's voice on the other end. "I'll see you later tonight. I can't wait to feel your hands on me again," she whispered. I froze. The words pierced me, and a knot of dread grew inside. I didn't need to hear more. The sickening realization hit me. My wife was having an affair. I could hear the familiar tremor in her voice, the kind of voice you use when you're deeply entangled with someone. And I knew then that it wasn't just a fling. It was something far deeper. When she saw me standing there, her eyes widened in shock, quickly followed by defensiveness. She hung up the phone and rushed to me. "It's not what it looks like," she pleaded. "You have to believe me." But I couldn't. I knew. And when I confronted her, she tried to cover it up, spinning lies with ease, making me feel like I was a crazy one for even thinking she could betray me. "I've been busy with work," she said, trying to justify the long hours, the secrecy. But I could see through it all. Her guilt was written all over her face. She admitted nothing that night, but I could feel her pulling further and further away from me. The love we once shared felt like it was being replaced by something darker. I could no longer sit idly by, waiting for answers. One evening, after days of tension, I decided to confront her directly about the affair. What I didn't expect was the bombshell she dropped that night. "I never wanted to hurt you," she said, her voice flat. "But Aaron, he gives me everything I need. You haven't been there for me, and he gives me everything I've been craving." The truth came crashing down. Aaron, her boss, the one man I had always admired, the one who had always been there, guiding her through her career. He had been the one who had stolen her heart. "I'm sorry," she added, her voice cold, "but I can't keep pretending anymore." As I stood there, reeling from the pain of betrayal and humiliation, I received a message. It was from an unknown number, a message that would change everything. The message was simple but hit me like a freight train. "I know what Jessica has been doing. I can help you destroy both of them. But I need one favor in return." At first, I thought it was a joke, some sick prank. But as I read further, my heart raced. "I've been watching Jessica and Aaron. I know everything. I can help you expose them. But I need your help with something that will make sure they can never get away with it. You could destroy their lives, but I need one thing in return." I sat there, my mind spinning. Who is this person, and how did they know? And why were they offering to help me? The rage inside me surged. I couldn't just let this go. I couldn't let her get away with what she had done to me. I needed answers. I needed to make them pay. I didn't hesitate. I typed back, "What do you need from me?" The reply came quickly. "I'll contact you soon. Trust me, you'll get everything you need, but you have to do as I say." I didn't know who this person was, but I wasn't about to let the opportunity slip by. What followed were weeks of planning, during which I meticulously gathered information about Aaron and Jessica. I began digging into their secrets, not just the affair, but everything they thought was hidden. Jessica had helped Aaron cover up illegal transactions in company, and I knew I had to expose everything. She had become so deeply involved in his corrupt dealings that they were both now sitting ducks. The stranger, who I came to know as X, started feeding me the tools I needed. He had access to Aaron's financial records and helped me find key evidence that would bring them both down. But there was one more thing I needed. Proof. Proof of their affair. I didn't just want to destroy their careers. I wanted to expose their lives for the world to see. I had everything in place. I started by carefully leaking information to the media. These weren't just rumors. I had photos of Jessica and Aaron meeting in secluded spots during business trips. I sent the images anonymously, knowing they would be devastating. The affair wasn't just a personal betrayal. It was professional sabotage. Their colleagues would find out soon enough. As the story spread like wildfire, I felt a strange sense of satisfaction watching their public humiliation unfold. The moment I saw Jessica's tear-streaked face as the press surrounded her at the office, I felt my first rush of relief. She hadn't expected this. She thought she could keep the affair hidden, keep playing me. But now, the world saw her for who she truly was. Aaron wasn't any better. His business partners immediately started questioning him. Investors pulled out. As the scandal snowballed, his once flawless reputation crumbled. He was no longer a successful CEO. He was a man caught in a web of lies. But I was just getting started. With every headline, every article, the irony of it all became more delicious. Jessica had spent years crafting an image of professionalism and integrity, only to have it collapse in an instant. Still, she tried to hold on to her dignity, spinning the affair into a sob story about stress and personal struggles. I was under so much pressure, she said in interviews. I was just trying to keep up with work and life. It got out of hand. It made me sick. Even after everything, she was still playing the victim. But no one believed her. The world saw the truth. She wasn't a victim. She was a villain. As for Aaron, his downfall was even more spectacular. His company became entangled in lawsuits. The press hounded him at every turn. But the real nail in the coffin came when I received a call from X. He had successfully planted evidence linking Aaron to financial crimes, fraud, money laundering. Aaron wasn't just losing his job. He was facing prison time. At this point, I barely had to do anything. The dominoes were already falling. With their professional lives in ruin, I set the final step of my plan into motion, a personal reckoning. I arranged to meet them both at a cafe we had once cherished, a place filled with memories of better times. But today, it would be the setting for their downfall. When they arrived, I noticed a fear in their eyes, barely masked by arrogance. They knew, deep down, that I had won. Jessica sat first, her usual composure cracking. She tried to speak, but I raised a hand. This wasn't a conversation. It was a reckoning. I've been thinking a lot about what happened. I said, my voice calm. You think you've won. That because you've ruined me, you've gotten away with it. But the truth is you've destroyed yourselves. And you don't even realize it yet. Jessica opened her mouth, but found no words. Aaron, trying to maintain his air of confidence, just stared at me. But we all knew reality had set in. I slid an envelope across the table. This is for you, I said flatly. Aaron hesitated before opening it. His face turned white as he saw the evidence. Emails, financial documents, proof of his criminal operations. His company was facing massive fines, but more than that, he was staring down a prison sentence. You thought you were untouchable, I said, my voice cold. But you made a fatal mistake. You thought you could use my wife, use me, without consequence. Now you'll pay for it. Jessica's face turned ashen. You can't, she stammered. Oh, I already did. I cut in. The board knew about the affair. They knew everything. She thought she could hide behind her career, but I made sure her secrets were laid bare. Just like Aaron, she was left with nothing. The weeks that followed were like watching a slow-motion train wreck. Jessica was fired. Her colleagues, once her friends, distanced themselves. The scandal ensured she would never work in her field again. No apologies, no redemption, just humiliation. As for Aaron, he couldn't run from the truth. His legal team fought, but the evidence was airtight. He was charged with fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. The company he built was gone, and his career was over. Yet, Despite their suffering, my satisfaction didn't come from their downfall. It came from reclaiming my own power. I had given them everything, my trust, my loyalty, my love. They had taken it and used it against me. But in the end, I had the final word. I didn't need to see them beg. I didn't need to watch them plead. Their humiliation was enough. They had been destroyed by their own actions. They had underestimated me. They had underestimated my resilience. Walking away from that final meeting was freeing. I no longer held on to the past. I had risen above it, and now I could move on, because in the end, betrayal can destroy you, but it can also make you stronger. The key is to take back your power, to let go of the past, and to learn from the pain. Justice isn't about making the betrayers suffer. It's about reclaiming your own life.